How often do you find yourself frustrated, angry, or upset over something beyond your control? What if I told you that your peace is never truly lost, and it's always within your reach? Imagine being able to stay calm, no matter what life throws your way. It's easy to feel like anger is an unavoidable part of life, something that just happens to you. But the truth is, anger doesn't need to control you. The real power lies in how you respond to it. You can choose a different path. You can choose peace. In today's video, I want to share with you a simple yet profound truth. You don't have to get angry or bothered. No matter the situation, you can always find a way to return to inner calm. It's not about suppressing your feelings or pretending to be okay. It's about understanding what triggers those emotions and choosing how to respond. This journey is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about understanding that your peace is an inner strength, one that no external circumstance can take away. I'm not here to tell you to just let it go or calm down. I'm here to guide you on a path where you can begin to understand your emotions on a deeper level, where you have the tools to regain control of your peace in the most difficult of moments. By the end of this video, you'll have a powerful new perspective on how to handle anger, frustration, or any emotion that pulls you away from your peace. You'll walk away feeling more in control, knowing that peace is always within you, waiting to be embraced. So take a moment and ask yourself, are you ready to reclaim your inner peace? Let's begin this journey together. Part 1. Understanding your emotions. The power lies within you. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by your emotions, like anger, frustration, or sadness, taking over your entire sense of self? In those moments, it can feel like you're no longer in control. Your thoughts race, your heart pounds, and suddenly, everything seems out of your hands. But here's the truth. The power to manage your emotions, to choose your response, is always inside you. It might not feel that way when you're caught up in a storm of emotion, but the moment you realize this power, you begin to take back control. Understanding your emotions isn't about denying them or pretending they don't exist. It's about accepting them for what they are, understanding why they arise, and then choosing how to respond, rather than letting them choose for you. Think about it for a moment. Every time you feel anger rising up, it's not just about the situation at hand. It's about how you interpret that situation. Emotions don't come out of nowhere. They are reactions to something we see, hear, or experience. But here's the key. Your interpretation of what's happening is what triggers the emotion. You have the power to shift that interpretation and change your emotional response. When you start to understand this, you'll see that no one has control over your emotions, except you. It's your mind, your perception, and your understanding that shape how you feel. So when someone cuts you off in traffic, or when your colleague says something rude, it's not the event itself that's making you angry. It's how you interpret the event. It's how you let it affect you. The moment you take a step back and realize that you have the power to choose your reaction, the grip of anger begins to loosen. Your emotions are a signal. They tell you something important about how you see the world. Anger might arise when you feel disrespected, for example, but at the same time, that same anger can be a moment of self-reflection. Why does this situation upset you so much? What does it say about your values, your boundaries, your expectations? The key here is to take the moment to understand the root of your emotional response. By doing so, you can address the cause, rather than just reacting to the symptom. This isn't an overnight process. It takes practice, patience, and a willingness to be aware of your own feelings. But the more you begin to recognize your emotions for what they truly are, temporary reactions to your thoughts, the more control you'll have over them. And the more control you have over your emotions, the more peace you'll find. In those moments when you feel the anger rising, try this. Take a deep breath and pause. Instead of letting the emotion take over, create space between the stimulus and your response. In that space, you'll find the power to choose. You'll find the power to let go. And you'll find the power to reclaim your inner peace. Remember, emotions don't control you, you control them. This shift in mindset can make all the difference in how you approach challenges and setbacks in your life. It's not about eliminating emotions, it's about learning how to manage them in a way that keeps you grounded. When you begin to see your emotions for what they are, temporary visitors, not permanent residents, you'll find that peace is always within your reach, no matter the circumstances. Now, I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, when was the last time you felt like you lost control of your emotions? What would have happened if you had paused, taken a breath, and chosen a different response? Reflect on that, and remember, you have the power to create a different outcome. Part 2. The key to inner peace. It's not about what happens to you, but how you choose to respond. Life is unpredictable. Sometimes things unfold in ways that leave us feeling helpless or frustrated. You might find yourself in situations that seem unfair or out of your control. But here's something that might surprise you. True peace doesn't come from controlling everything around you. It comes from controlling how you respond to what happens. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that if only certain things were different, if only people treated you better, if only circumstances weren't so difficult, then you could finally feel at peace. But the truth is, no one can ever control everything in their environment. There will always be things beyond your control, and if you focus solely on trying to change the world outside of you, you'll end up feeling frustrated and exhausted. What if I told you that the path to inner peace isn't about controlling external events or people, but rather mastering how you respond to them? The power lies in how you choose to react. This is where your true strength lies. Let's take a moment to reflect on this. Think about a situation where you felt out of control. Perhaps something that made you angry or anxious. In that moment, it might have felt like the world was pressing down on you, like everything was going wrong. But when you look back now, did the situation really control you? Or was it your reaction to it that dictated how you felt? When you understand that your emotional state is a choice, everything changes. You begin to realize that you are never truly a victim of your circumstances. You are the one who decides how you will respond to them. In those moments when life feels overwhelming, you have the power to choose your mindset. You can choose to view challenges as opportunities for growth, or you can choose to let them define you in a negative way. Now, I know it's not always easy. In the heat of the moment, emotions can cloud our judgment, and it's natural to react impulsively. But the more you practice this awareness, the more you'll see how your thoughts shape your reality. What happens to you isn't as important as how you choose to see it. For example, when someone criticizes you or acts unfairly, it's tempting to feel hurt or defensive. But when you take a step back, you realize that their words or actions don't have the power to harm you unless you allow them to. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you can choose to respond with understanding or even with kindness. By choosing how you react, you preserve your peace. Imagine a situation where someone cuts you off in traffic. In that moment, you have two choices. You can let the anger rise, clench your fists, and let the incident ruin your day, or you can pause, take a deep breath, and choose to let it go. By letting go of your emotional reaction, you take back control of the situation. It no longer has the power to upset you. You are the one who decides whether you'll be disturbed by the actions of others. This doesn't mean you have to suppress your feelings or pretend everything is okay when it's not. It simply means that you have the ability to manage your emotional responses. You don't have to react impulsively to every challenge you face. Instead, you can take a moment to reflect and decide what your response will be, based on your values and what truly matters to you. In the end, peace isn't a destination, it's a practice. It's something you cultivate every single day. It's not about avoiding conflict or always feeling happy. It's about developing the inner strength to handle whatever comes your way with grace and composure. The more you focus on your response rather than the situation itself, the more peace you will find. And that peace will be yours, no matter what happens around you. So, take a moment to reflect. How have you been reacting to the challenges in your life? What would happen if, the next time you feel triggered, you took a deep breath and chose a different response? You are the master of your own peace, and every choice you make brings you closer to a more centered and calm life. You have the power to shape your experience, one response at a time. Part 3. Anger feeds on expectations. Lowering them to free yourself. You've probably experienced it before. The frustration, the anger, the feeling of being let down. You had certain expectations, a certain picture in your mind of how things were supposed to go. And when reality didn't meet that picture, anger started to creep in. It's almost as if anger feeds on unmet expectations, isn't it? Think about the last time you were upset. Was it because life didn't live up to your expectations? Maybe someone didn't act the way you thought they would. Maybe a situation didn't unfold in the way you anticipated. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that things should go a certain way, and when they don't, anger takes hold. But here's the thing. The key to freeing yourself from anger lies in understanding that your expectations are the root cause. They create a story in your mind about how things should be. When reality doesn't fit into that story, anger is the natural consequence. It's almost like a chain reaction. You set an expectation, life doesn't meet it, and boom, anger rises up. Now, I want you to pause and really think about this. What would happen if you lowered your expectations? What if you didn't expect everything to go according to plan? What if you let go of the need to control how others behave or how life unfolds? Imagine how much freer you would feel. Lowering your expectations doesn't mean resigning yourself to a life of disappointment. It doesn't mean that you stop hoping for good things or working toward your goals. It simply means that you release the need to control every outcome. It's about accepting that life will unfold as it will, and how you respond is entirely up to you. When you lower your expectations, you give yourself the freedom to be at peace with whatever comes your way. Instead of getting angry when things don't go as planned, you can embrace flexibility. You'll begin to see that disappointment only arises when you tie your happiness to a specific outcome. When you stop expecting things to unfold in a particular way, you stop setting yourself up for anger when reality doesn't meet your ideal. Think about the times you felt anger rising because someone didn't meet your expectations. Maybe it was a friend who canceled plans, a colleague who didn't do their part, or a situation that didn't go the way you hoped. In those moments, your anger wasn't actually about the person or the situation. It was about your expectations not being met. And when you let go of those expectations, you free yourself from the grip of anger. Lowering expectations doesn't mean giving up on your desires or settling for less than you deserve. It means accepting that life will unfold in its own time and way. By lowering your expectations, you stop setting yourself up for frustration. You start to flow with life rather than fighting against it. The more you let go of rigid expectations, the more space you create for peace to enter. It's important to note here that this doesn't mean you should lower your standards for yourself or allow others to mistreat you. It's not about lowering your standards. It's about lowering the emotional charge you place on things outside your control. When you adjust your expectations, you can still strive for greatness, but you won't hold yourself hostage to the idea that things must go a certain way for you to be happy. Life will always throw curveballs. People will disappoint you. Situations won't unfold the way you planned. But when you lower your expectations, you shift your focus. Instead of becoming angry at the world, you focus on how you respond. You take the power back into your own hands. You no longer let external circumstances dictate how you feel. The next time you feel anger rising, take a step back and ask yourself, what was I expecting? Was it reasonable to expect things to unfold this way? The moment you start questioning your expectations, you start freeing yourself from the anger that feeds on them. You begin to realize that peace isn't found in controlling others or the world around you. Peace is found in releasing the grip of expectations and choosing to accept things as they are. This shift in mindset is powerful. It takes practice, but with each step, you'll find yourself more at peace. As you lower your expectations, you raise your inner peace. You stop giving anger the power to control your life. You realize that your happiness isn't dependent on how others act or how things turn out. It's within you, and it's always been within you. By lowering expectations, you unlock the ability to respond with grace, understanding, and patience. You stop letting anger dictate your life. Instead, you become the one who chooses how to respond, no matter what life throws your way, and in doing so, you find the freedom and peace you've been seeking all along. Part 4. Reframing your perspective. It's not about them. It's how you interpret it. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone said or did something that made you feel angry or upset? It's easy to point the finger and blame them, isn't it? But what if I told you that the real source of your distress isn't what they said or did, but how you interpret it? Take a moment to reflect. Think about the last time you felt hurt by someone's actions or words. It may have been a friend, a colleague, or even a stranger. Now, ask yourself this. Was the situation truly about them, or was it about how you chose to see it? You see, life doesn't always unfold the way you expect, and people don't always act the way you want them to. But how you respond to these situations, that's where your true power lies. The way you interpret the actions and words of others can either fuel your anger or help you find peace. This isn't to say that people can't be rude, inconsiderate, or hurtful, but it's important to realize that you have the ability to reframe how you see things. You don't have to let someone else's behavior define your emotional state. The key is understanding that your emotions are often a reflection of your perspective, not necessarily the situation itself. Think about it this way. Imagine two people hear the same comment from someone. One person is hurt, feels disrespected, and gets angry. The other person, however, chooses to see it as an opportunity for growth or as a reflection of the other person's issues, not their own. The difference isn't in the comment, it's in how each person chooses to interpret it. When you reframe your perspective, you take control of your emotions. Instead of reacting with anger, frustration, or hurt, you can respond with understanding, compassion, or even indifference. You choose not to let others' actions dictate how you feel. This shift in mindset is liberating because it empowers you to take charge of your emotional well-being. One powerful way to reframe your perspective is to ask yourself, what might this situation look like if I viewed it through a different lens? Could the person who upset you be struggling with something of their own? Could their words or actions be more about them than about you? When you ask these questions, you shift your focus away from taking things personally and start to see things with more clarity. You may not always be able to change the way others behave, but you can always change how you respond. The moment you realize that you are the one choosing your emotional response, you regain the power to stay calm, centered, and at peace, no matter what's happening around you. Think about a time when you let something small or seemingly insignificant bother you. Maybe someone cut in front of you in line, or someone didn't hold the door open. These small moments can easily trigger irritation or anger if you allow them to. But if you take a step back and reframe the situation, you can see it differently. Perhaps the person was in a hurry or didn't notice you. Maybe they weren't being rude. They were simply unaware. This doesn't mean you have to tolerate bad behavior, but it does mean that you don't need to let it disturb your peace. You can choose to interpret the situation with understanding or let it roll off your back. When you stop taking things personally, you stop giving power to external events and people over your inner peace. The practice of reframing your perspective is something that can be cultivated over time. At first, it might feel challenging, especially when emotions run high. But with practice, you'll start to notice a shift. You'll become less reactive and more proactive in choosing how to respond to situations. And in doing so, you'll create a life where your happiness and peace are no longer dependent on external circumstances. Reframing is not about ignoring reality or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about acknowledging that how you interpret situations and people is within your control. You can choose to see a challenging situation as an opportunity for personal growth, as a chance to practice patience, or even as a reminder that you're in control of how you respond. By reframing your perspective, you move from being a passive observer of your emotions to being an active participant in your own emotional well-being. You realize that the power to change how you feel lies within you, not in the actions of others. So the next time you find yourself upset, take a moment to pause and ask yourself, how am I choosing to interpret this situation? Is there another way to see it? And if I change my perspective, can I find peace instead of anger? In that moment, you can choose to step into your power. You can choose peace over anger. You can choose clarity over confusion. And in doing so, you unlock the key to your own emotional freedom. Part 5. Practicing the art of patience. Delay your reaction to gain control. Patience. It's one of those qualities we all know we should have, but often find hard to practice. In the fast-paced world we live in, where everything is expected to happen instantly, we tend to react quickly, sometimes without thinking. But what if I told you that your greatest power lies not in reacting immediately, but in choosing to pause and give yourself time before you respond? Think about it for a moment. How many times have you reacted impulsively to a situation? Whether it's something as small as a delay in traffic or as big as a disagreement with someone close to you. When you act without thinking, you often feel regret afterward. You wish you could go back and handle things differently. But here's the truth. You can. The key to mastering your emotions and taking control of your life lies in practicing the art of patience. When you delay your reaction, you give yourself the space to respond with clarity and intention, rather than from a place of anger, frustration, or impulse. Now, I know it's not always easy. In the heat of the moment, your emotions can feel overwhelming. But here's where the magic happens. When you choose to take a step back and delay your response, you give yourself the gift of time to regain control of your emotions. You don't have to be a slave to your immediate reactions. You can take a pause, breathe, and choose how you want to respond. Let's break it down a bit further. Imagine you're in a situation where someone says something hurtful. Your first instinct might be to defend yourself or lash out. You might feel your heart racing, your breath quickening, and a surge of anger building inside you. In that moment, you have a choice. You can react right away, letting your emotions dictate your actions. Or you can pause, just for a few seconds. Long enough to breathe deeply and think about what you want to say, not what you feel in that instant. When you choose patience, you're choosing to gain control over your emotions rather than letting them control you. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It means giving yourself permission to feel what you feel, but not letting those feelings dictate your actions in the heat of the moment. Patience gives you perspective. When you take that pause, you allow yourself the space to reflect on the situation more clearly. You begin to ask yourself, is this worth reacting to? What's the best way to respond, given who I want to be and how I want to feel afterward? And in that moment of stillness, you realize that you have a choice in how you show up in the world. You might think that by delaying your reaction, you're being passive or weak. But in reality, it's the opposite. Patience is power. It's strength in action. When you wait before reacting, you show yourself and others that you are in control of your emotions. You're not at the mercy of whatever happens to you. You've taken the time to choose your response consciously, rather than allowing your immediate reactions to shape your reality. This practice can be especially powerful when dealing with conflict. The next time you find yourself in a disagreement, whether with a partner, friend, or colleague, try this. Before you respond, take a deep breath and count to 5. Use those seconds to clear your mind, center yourself, and remind yourself of your power to choose how you engage. When you do, you'll find that you're able to respond with more grace, more wisdom, and a lot less emotional turbulence. It's in those small moments of pause that your true power lies. The ability to delay your reaction gives you control over how you experience life. Instead of letting your emotions control you, you begin to control your emotions, and that makes all the difference. Patience also teaches you that not every situation demands an immediate response. Sometimes the best thing you can do is wait. Waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. It means giving yourself time to align with your values and intentions before acting. It means taking a moment to reflect, and in doing so, responding from a place of calm, not chaos. In the end, practicing patience isn't about being perfect. It's about acknowledging that you have the power to choose your response. It's about understanding that your peace of mind is in your hands. You have the ability to step back, take a breath, and choose how you react to whatever life throws at you. And when you do that, you unlock a level of control and strength that allows you to navigate life's challenges with confidence and clarity. So the next time you feel the urge to react immediately, remember this: you are in control. You don't have to give in to the impulse to lash out or respond in anger. You can choose to pause, breathe, and respond with patience. And in doing so, you'll discover just how powerful you really are. Part 6. Embracing Impermanence. Nothing lasts, not even this feeling. Have you ever been caught in a moment of intense emotion, where everything feels overwhelming and all-consuming? In that moment, it can feel like your emotions are never going to end, like they are a permanent part of who you are. You might feel stuck, trapped, or powerless against what you're experiencing. But here's something you can remind yourself: nothing lasts forever. Not even this feeling. It's hard to grasp, isn't it? When you're in the midst of anger, sadness, frustration, or anxiety, it can feel like those emotions define you. They become so loud, so present, that they can cloud your judgment and distort your reality. You may feel like you're caught in a storm with no way out, but here's the truth: the storm will pass. Life is inherently temporary. It's one of the few constants we can rely on. Every emotion you feel, whether it's a high or a low, will eventually fade. This moment of intensity, it won't last forever. Even when it feels like it's all-consuming, like it's too much to bear, take a step back and remember: this too shall pass. Understanding the impermanence of feelings is not about dismissing them or pretending they don't matter. Far from it. It's about accepting that feelings are temporary, and in doing so, giving yourself the power to ride through them without letting them define your reality. When you embrace the idea that everything changes, you begin to realize that no matter how strong your current emotions may feel, they are not permanent. Think about the last time you were upset. Maybe it was a disagreement with someone, or perhaps it was a setback in your life that felt like a crushing blow. In that moment, you might have believed that the pain would last forever. But now, looking back, you can see that it didn't. You made it through. Time passed, and so did the intensity of those emotions. This doesn't mean you should push your feelings away or try to ignore them. It's okay to feel. It's okay to sit with your emotions, to let them wash over you. But it's also important to remember that they are not permanent. They do not define who you are. You are not your anger, your sadness, or your frustration. You are the person who feels those emotions, and like everything else in life, they will change. By embracing the impermanence of your feelings, you begin to let go of the belief that you are stuck in them. Instead, you create space for new feelings to come in, feelings of calm, hope, peace, and clarity. Peace. When you remember that this feeling, however intense, won't last forever, it gives you the freedom to move through it without being overwhelmed by it. Let's take this a step further. Imagine you're experiencing a difficult moment, and you feel that overwhelming urge to react, whether it's to lash out, shut down, or simply give in to the negative emotions you're feeling. Before you do that, try this. Pause, take a deep breath, and remind yourself, this feeling is temporary. This moment is temporary. I don't need to make a decision right now. By doing this, you allow yourself to regain control. You don't have to react in the heat of the moment. You can choose to wait, to reflect, and to respond in a way that aligns with who you truly are. When you accept the impermanence of your emotions, you give yourself a gift, the gift of perspective. Instead of feeling trapped in your emotions, you gain the freedom to move through them with grace. You start to see that emotions are like waves. Some waves are gentle, others are fierce, but all waves eventually return to calm. And so will your emotions. This understanding of impermanence also allows you to approach life with a sense of detachment, not in the sense of being cold or indifferent, but in the sense of not holding on to things too tightly. When you realize that nothing lasts forever, you can release your grip on things that no longer serve you. Whether it's a hurt from the past, a disappointment in the present, or a fear of the future. You begin to free yourself from the weight of these emotions, because you understand that you don't have to carry them forever. The beauty of life is in its ever-changing nature. Just as the seasons shift from one to the next, your emotions too will shift. You don't need to hold on to the heavy feelings, and you don't need to fear the light ones. Embrace the ebb and flow of emotions, and in doing so, you'll find a greater sense of peace within yourself. So the next time you find yourself overwhelmed by a strong emotion, take a moment to breathe. Remember that nothing lasts forever, not even this feeling. And as you wait for the storm to pass, know that you have the strength to navigate through it. You are not defined by your emotions. You are the person who experiences them. And that, my friend, is where your true power lies. The impermanence of feelings is a reminder that life is always moving, always changing. And so are you. Part 7. Returning to your inner citadel. The world can't touch what's inside. When life gets overwhelming, when the world feels too heavy, it's easy to feel as though you're at the mercy of everything happening around you. People's words, the chaos in your day, the unpredictability of events, it can all feel like a storm, relentless and consuming. But in those moments, I want you to remember this. You have an inner citadel. It's your place of strength, calm, and clarity. And nothing in the world can touch it unless you let it. Do you ever feel like the weight of the world is bearing down on you? That the noise and demands from the outside are drowning out your inner peace? It's in these moments that you need to retreat, not physically, but mentally. You need to reconnect with the part of yourself that is untouchable, that remains steady no matter what's happening outside. Imagine a citadel, a strong, unshakable fortress. No matter how fierce the storms outside, the citadel stands firm. Inside, there is peace, protection, and safety. That citadel, it's inside you. Your inner citadel is where your true power lies. It's that calm place within you where nothing can shake your sense of who you are. It's where you can always return to when the world feels like it's closing in. You don't need to run away from the world. Instead, you need to return to the center of yourself, where your strength is. You can choose to center yourself and remind yourself that nothing can take away your peace unless you allow it. You are the keeper of your own emotions, your own reactions, your own mindset. Think about how much of your emotional energy is spent on external things, what others say, what happens in traffic, how your plans don't go the way you wanted. In those moments, you may feel helpless, but in reality, you always have the power to choose how you respond. You are the gatekeeper of your inner citadel. You can decide what you let in and what you keep out. When things don't go the way you want, when people challenge you or disappoint you, Remember that these external factors can only affect you if you let them. They are temporary. They are outside your citadel, your peace, your strength, your clarity. They are within you, and they are yours to protect. But how do you do this? How do you return to that inner place of strength when everything around you feels unstable? It starts with awareness. The moment you realize that you are feeling overwhelmed, take a step back. Close your eyes for a second and breathe. Remind yourself that you are more than your circumstances, more than the chaos surrounding you. You are the calm within that chaos. You can create a mental space that is your sanctuary. Picture your citadel in your mind. What does it look like? Maybe it's a quiet room, a peaceful garden, or a safe, serene place. Whenever you feel yourself getting caught up in external turmoil, retreat there in your mind. Take a moment to let the calm of that place wash over you, and let your mind settle. This doesn't mean you shut yourself off from the world. It means you choose not to let the world define you. It means that no matter what happens outside, you stay grounded in your inner truth. You become unshaken, like a tree that sways with the wind but does not fall. The beauty of returning to your inner citadel is that it is always there for you, ready to offer you peace whenever you need it. No one can take that from you. Not the challenges you face, not the criticisms you receive, not the setbacks that may try to knock you down. You have the power to remain unmoved, to choose your response, and to protect your inner peace. And here's the most powerful part. When you are anchored in your inner citadel, when you are at peace with yourself, you become an unshakable force. You stop reacting to the outside world in ways that drain your energy. You start to move through life with purpose, clarity, and strength. You begin to feel empowered, not by the world around you, but by the world inside you. So the next time life feels like it's too much, take a deep breath and remember, you have a safe space within you, a place that no one can touch. Return to that inner citadel where peace reigns and where you are in full control of your emotions. Your power lies in your ability to stay centered, no matter what's happening on the outside. And the more you return to this space, the stronger and more resilient you will become. You are the keeper of your own peace. You are the architect of your own inner world. The world can try to shake you, but it can never touch what's inside. Conclusion. Your journey to inner peace begins now. As you take in the lessons from this video, I want you to pause and reflect on one simple truth. Your journey to inner peace starts the moment you decide to make it a priority. It's not about waiting for the right circumstances or the perfect conditions. It's about choosing right here and right now to reclaim your power and nurture the peace within you. You are not helpless in the face of life's challenges. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your experience. The world around you may be chaotic, unpredictable, and often uncontrollable. But within you lies a constant, unshakable force, a place of calm, strength, and resilience that cannot be touched by external events unless you allow it. This is your invitation to embrace that power, to commit to returning to your inner citadel whenever the world tries to knock you down, to practice patience, knowing that your response is yours to choose, no matter what happens, to lower your expectations so that you no longer feed anger, but instead feed your peace. To reframe your perspective and remember that what others do or say is not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. And remember, nothing lasts forever, not even the tough times. You have within you the ability to ride through the storms of life with grace, because you know that everything is impermanent, including the feelings that may seem overwhelming now. But most of all, never forget, your journey is yours alone. You are the one who has the power to steer it. You are the one who can make the choice to return to your center, to your peace, and to your power. The world can't take away what's inside you unless you let it. So, take a deep breath. Feel the strength within you. Your inner citadel is waiting. Your peace is already there. All that's left is for you to claim it. Your journey to inner peace begins now. It begins with you.